Okay, welcome everybody to the community meeting. Today is January 24th. This is the APAC EMEA time slot meeting. Next week we'll have the other time slot again, later one. Please add your names if you haven't already, but I think everybody has. Let's kick it off. Community time block. So what does GC actually stand for? General Committee, I guess. The GC voting is still going on for the tiebreaker until end of today UTC time. You still have time to vote today, and then it's closing, and we'll have our full GC voted in basically. Yeah, all the links are here. If you still need to vote, please do so. This is your last reminder basically. Okay, and then next, we have another meeting today. We have the Keptn online user group meeting, which is hosted today by Flo, and he's gonna do kind of an introduction to Keptn there. That's gonna happen at 4 p.m. CET. And let me quickly, I think I have the link here for the meeting as well. I think this is yes. I'll post this into the doc as well here. Just so that everybody can see that. Yeah, so it's the online user group meeting. Flo is gonna give an introduction there. If you cannot make it, this is also gonna be recorded and will end up on our YouTube channel, I think. But yeah. And then stuff is added as we go. Cool. Okay. We have an accepted KubeCon talk by Anna and Giovanni. It's happening on March 20th. Anything to add from you two about that?
What is the topic?
I posted the link towards the what is it called, the abstract of the talk. The idea is to tell people about what's the status of Keptn, how does the tool works, what you can do with it, and the overall general roadmap for it. So we can also, one of the goal, at least mine, is to listen to the community, because last time we got nice feedback from the community say we really want to have context propagation and promotion. So that's a place where community can suggest roadmap changes for us, or say, I would like to have this and not that, and we can adapt our roadmap accordingly. I hope this clarify your question.
Yes.
Awesome. Cool stuff.
I also added the link for the project meeting that will be at KubeCon.
So this will happen again like last time, but I think last time it didn't really work or was
Yes.
not advertised. I don't remember.
This is the 18th of April this time at 3:30.
Maybe we can add this to our Keptn community meetings on the CNCF page as well. Maybe that makes sense.
Yes, since we have a room already, we can. It makes sense.
It would be cool if you could do that. I don't have access to all that stuff. Or
can
Stacy,
do that,
or I don't know.
Or ask Stacy
Okay.
to do it, yeah.
Awesome.
And
Yeah,
also,
so if you're
yeah,
go ahead.
if you are a student, have a look at the financial possibility for joining KubeCon. We had Yash last year that managed to join with a talk, a lightning talk, and his ticket was paid by the conference.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, check that out. It's probably on our KubeCon page, somewhere around payment, I guess. Other than that, yeah. So this is in person and virtual. So if you are at KubeCon, please join in person, ideally. Otherwise, in a virtual fashion.
The project
So,
meeting
yeah.
is not broadcasted though, so there won't be any Zoom link or online possibility for it.
Will your talk
Oh
be
yeah, so
broadcast?
that's only virtual if you have the virtual ticket, right?
Virtual ticket, yes.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
believe so.
But mind that this is the old one.
Oh, this is the,
Wow.
but it
Ah.
was the link from the KubeCon 24. Ah, sorry.
How quickly will I find this now?
I can find it very quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
No, there's not yet
Is that the thing?
project meetings out, sorry.
Okay, so probably
I
they
will
linked to the
put
old
this
one
for now.
because it was not there yet.
Uh,
Sad, sorry.
uh,
Usually it's the very first day of the conference, so Monday, if I don't recall wrong.
mm.
Yeah. If you find a link, or if the link appears at some point or something, we can add it here later.
Do we want to add
Anything-
a note for the students that you mentioned? For anybody who's reading this and doesn't, yeah.
Yeah.
I found the link for the founding request through the Linux Foundation.
Oh, good.
I added to the agenda.
That's for students?
Yes, mainly.
Yeah. Okay, just added that.
Okay. Anything else for the community time block? Okay. Then let's move on to documentation. Anything?
I
from
didn't
Mac?
prepare anything. Because I dominated so much last week, so I thought I'd be generous. Anybody, community people, do you have any documentation issues you want to discuss? Utkarsh, you saw that we threw one more thing at you, but you're about to get your PR approved. Do one more little
Yeah,
thing.
I saw that.
Was
I'll
that
make
okay?
the changes by today itself.
It make sense? Did you say it does make sense?
What?
Did you say it does make sense?
Yeah, I've gone through what you have commented to make the first line and the second sentence. I have to change that, right?
Yeah, just sort of invert those.
Yeah, I'll
You
make the
need
changes
help.
and yeah, I'll make the changes today itself.
Okay, yeah, you did a good job. That's a good PR. I'm anxious to get it approved and merged, so.
Cool. Anything else? Otherwise, I guess we can move on to refinement.
Let's do it.
Keep it short today. Okay. Silence means no. Actually, Geoffrey raised his hand.
Hi,
Go ahead,
guys.
Geoffrey.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Hello?
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm making emphasis on the KubeCon funding. So I just want to get more clarity if it's merely for students, because I'm no longer a student. I finished college last year. I just recently finished college. Is this strictly for students, or can those who are maybe underrepresented country and who can't afford fully the ticket apply for this? Or is this strictly for students?
Well, this is not strictly for students as far as I understood the text. I suggest just to apply. If you are not eligible for it, then they will let you know, but worth to try at least.
All right, thank you.
Asking doesn't hurt, yeah.
Yeah.
I would just apply as well. Yeah, so it says for people who are unable to
Community
attend
member.
due to lack of funding. So I guess it's not strictly limited to students.
That should count. That would be great if you could go, Jeffrey.
I thought as much too. I'll apply.
Okay, then let's move on to refinement. Actually, let's do the discussion tickets first. We have two here. Flo created a new one. Do you want to take it over, Flo?
Yeah, sure. So this is a potential new addition to the metrics operator to support aggregation functions in the analysis value template. So right now, it's kind of expected of the query that you provide for an analysis value template to make use of the aggregation functions that are provided by your provider, essentially to kind of aggregate down the values of the time series for this particular time frame that you're investigating into one value. So for example, get the average of the response time for the last 5 minutes. Usually that can be done by the provider APIs by adding the relevant aggregation function to the query, but maybe it could also be of some additional value to also support this on our end, because we do a similar thing for the Keptn metrics CRDs, where we also support that to, in case where we do get a result containing multiple entries for a time series, to let our operator then basically do the aggregation of those values in case we do have multiple. Yeah, so one thing that might speak for this is that we do support this already in the metric CRDs. One thing that might speak against this is that usually the provider APIs come with these capabilities, and therefore this would mean that we have this additional logic that we would need to maintain. But yeah.
What was the reasoning behind doing it for metrics if it's already supported by all the query languages? Does anybody remember?
Have you checked the conversation of the user? You mean the reason why we should have it in the metric?
They just asked for it, yeah. But
Uh,
no, I mean
think-
why we did it for the Keptn metrics in the first place, since it's already supported by all the metrics providers.
because we abstract different metric providers, no? So you can aggregate metric from different ones. And they
No, the aggregation
same.
is they're also done on multiple values that are included as in the result for the same query, but not across.
No, what I
providers.
mean is that you have different providers, but the aggregation method is the same for all of them because we do it instead of having a different way for each provider. That would be my intuition.
Yeah, the idea was, if you look at the GSOC proposal, this way you create an abstraction from where just a single metric comes from. So you can say, okay, I get the time series for, I don't know, this metric from Prometheus, the other time series from Dynatrace, and the aggregation is still the same. You don't need to encode that into the query itself. But honestly, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
So Flo, in the discussion, the user was complaining that for him, the first value of the time frame is not precise enough. And that is why he was asking for
Exactly. I think there it was unclear that the query should be defined in a way that you get a single value representing the whole time frame. Yeah.
Now I recall a bit better also, because we wanted to store the, what is it called? The vector in the CRD, so you can also get past information if you want. But it's something that we agree that remediation, day two operations should not be anymore our priority. So we can maybe simplify this. Worth to discuss it around a cap, honestly.
What is the downside of doing aggregation ourselves, apart from the hassle of writing it? Like, is the CRD getting bigger? For sure, right? Because you then have the entire
Yeah.
vector being stored. This may be
No, I don't think the vector will be stored because
In the raw,
in
it
the-
is stored. Yeah.
Do we have
but
the
we
raw
don't
field
store
for
the raw
analysis?
values. We don't store the raw
Mm.
values right
only
now
the
for
raw
the
result. Yeah, you're
results,
right.
because anyway the logic of the
Mm.
analysis controller can only work with single values
Mm.
for the evaluations.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, so this would not impact the size of the stored resources at all.
Would we need to update the CRD definition at all then?
Yes, in order to define the aggregation function that we would like to use.
So it's not a
So
breaking change.
the spec, yeah. Mm.
Giovanni, you suggested a cap for this. Shall we do that, or shall we just go ahead with the ticket?
I will go with a cap just to collect user input. Maybe there is a use case that we don't think currently. That's why I suggested the cap.
I guess that's also fine, yeah. Flo, do you wanna take that over? And maybe also link this user to it, that they can
absolutely.
provide some input as well, or feedback at least. Okay, cool. Then how do we handle the ticket for now? I guess we remove this and close it and then open a cap. Okay, cool. And then we have one other needs discussion ticket here. This is not actually fully ready yet to be worked on, but I wanted to just present it a little bit. So we noticed with more community members, we always need to assign tickets to everybody, since you can only do that as a maintainer. So as an outside contributor, you cannot assign something to yourself. You need to comment, and then a maintainer needs to assign a ticket to you. And some other CNCF projects actually have kind of a self-service bot or a pipeline for that, basically. So it's kind of chat ops, basically. So you comment with /assign or /assign and a name, and then the ticket is automatically going to be assigned to you. So there's no need for a human to interact there and actually do the action. And there's actually many other use cases. So for Kubernetes, for example, they also have I think a /acceptance test or something, and then the acceptance test pipeline is triggered and stuff like that. I don't think we need that per se, but the assignment would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that contributors basically can assign tickets to themselves by themselves with some basically restrictions around it that will define as maintainers. For example, a maximum number of assigned issues, so you can only work on X amount of issues at a time. If you have like 5 PRs open, for example, maybe it would be better to not work on a new ticket, but rather on reviews and stuff like that. And to also prevent assignment for not yet refined or not yet discussed tickets and stuff like that. So that was kind of my idea to have some form of automation around that, basically, to make it easier for contributors to get started, basically. I already posted some, yeah, so this is the reference. Basically, Kubernetes has a whole tool for it. It's called Prow, which is super useful, but it needs a whole cluster with pipelines on it to run. So that's not really an option for us, I think. That's a bit too much. But there's also a project, for example, which basically takes Prow and puts it into GitHub Actions. So that could be cool. But this doesn't support my requirements here for kind of restricting what you can assign and how much you can assign and stuff like that. So this would need to be enhanced to actually fit for our needs. And it's also pretty old by that point. But yeah, I just wanted to present this. It's probably something for the future. It's not ready yet to be worked on. I just wanted to get some initial thoughts maybe from everybody. So what do you think of this?
Where do we run the things?
Ideally, we just did a GitHub Actions pipeline. And it's triggered on any update to an issue. So also an issue comment, and then it will handle it. So we don't actually need to host anything.
Because otherwise there is Equinox from the CNCF. We can get bare metal, worst case scenario. But it's extra effort because we need to maintain infrastructure then. But I like the idea, honestly.
Definitely like the idea.
Any other
Community
thoughts?
people, do you like it? Community people. Jeffrey?
Hi. Yeah,
You
I
like-
like the self-assigned stuff. It's really a cool feature. It makes things much easier.
Indeed.
Cool. And we also have a thumbs up from Utkarsh.
Oh, good. Okay,
Nice.
that's-
Yeah, so then I guess I will refine this a bit more and define some proper requirements and stuff. And maybe we can refine this then in one of the future community meetings when it's ready. Cool. Thanks for the feedback. Then I guess I can remove the needs discussion label here. Okay. Then we're done with the discussion stuff. Let's move on to refinement. We have documentation only today. Nice.
Oh, Lord.
And actually some tickets are already assigned. Let's see. Okay. First of all, write a what is Keptn blog post. Blog post. Mac, do you want to take over or should I present this?
Sure. Do you want to click on that link? I actually tripped over. We have a what is Keptn blog post up there. Note the date. Do you need to read further?
Yeah,
So I
this
guess
is
the
pretty
question,
outdated.
yeah, to put it mildly, it would be updated. It would be outdated if we had Keptn V1. So I guess maybe the more important question is, do we need this? Or maybe we need to, you know, feature, I don't know, flows talk or something like that. I don't know. I just saw that, so I threw the ticket out there to see what people think about it. Do we need something like that? Is what we have at the beginning of the documentation, is that a good enough explanation? What does everybody think?
I like it.
Yeah. I guess because God, Jeffrey, because you're here, you get stuck with everything. You guys came to Keptn more recently. How easy was it for you to figure out what Keptn was about from the existing materials?
So for me, it was quite easy to get clear picture of what Keptn was, but it was much clearer for me in terms of the code. After learning about what Keptn was, I started going through the code. I was able to figure out what was actually happening behind the scene. So it was pretty much easier. for me, it was better and faster from the code aspect.
Yeah, we did start some time ago to have something, a guide to the source code, and I think that kind of fell apart. I think the person who was working on it. Is that what you're saying you need as a contributor a guide to the source code, right?
No, actually saying
Or
when I started off Keptn initially, so after going through the guide and documentation, it was much clearer for me when I started going through the code, because I was mainly focused on code contribution. So on my own, when I started into when I came into Keptn, it was mainly code contributions.
okay.
I think it could be cool to have kind of
Okay.
let's say I don't know, a one-page abstract of Keptn basically that is not the landing page and is not so, let's say, I don't know, marketing related maybe.
Yeah.
So the blog post could be a bit more in depth than a landing page, but it would basically be a single thing, a single document to go to kind of see an overview of what's going on. I think
Right.
it could be cool.
What it's good for, yeah. And could this be a good first issue for somebody coming in?
I
You
think
know,
to be able to synthesize, you need to know everything.
yeah.
So maybe not really a newcomer, but a few months in contributor.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we need a
Agree.
category for that of stuff that would be not super difficult, but
Day 2 contributors.
now you're
It's just
talking.
tickets.
Mhm.
We have beginner tickets and then we have tickets.
Tickets.
That's fine.
Cool.
Okay, I think so. The consensus is that we want to have this and we'll go
Yes,
ahead with the ticket, right?
right.
Cool. Okay, I will add this. I will not add this now. Bivang actually wrote under here already, but not very explicitly that he actually wants to work on this. Let's see. So
Maybe
for
let's
now,
ping
this is
him.
still open for grabs, or we ping him, yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Nice. Then let's move on. Here the reference page for the Keptn app context. Is this assigned to Meg already?
Yeah, Meg already grabbed it, so
Okay.
is that
Yeah,
okay?
so this is sure. So this is about the new Keptn app context CRD, which is part of the context propagation epic. We basically don't have a CRD reference page yet for it, where we explain all the different fields and how you fill them and how users can interact with that. So yeah, nothing really else to add here.
Yeah.
It should explain what the thing does in an intro paragraph. It should explain what the fields do. It should have some examples.
It should follow the
With the
template we've
general,
got. Yeah.
exactly.
Sorry, I should have done a DOD on that, but yeah, it's like we've got the template, for these things, we already have a link from the contributing guide to a template for a new reference page, and so fill in everything.
And secondly, you should also adapt the Keptn app CRD since that changes with this epic.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I was about to do a second ticket for that. Yeah, okay, so then we'll put that all on one ticket. On
yes,
one issue. Okay, good,
we
cool.
can put it all together since it's kind of the same
Yes.
change.
Yeah, and they kind of need to be done together because we'll point to the migration and all that. So
I
Yeah.
think today we mentioned there is a guide that is using the app CRD and is mentioning auto discovery.
Yes.
Should this be included in the ticket here or in a new
No.
ticket?
No, that would be separate. And what I don't know for sure is what pieces Flo and Andre are planning to write.
There's tickets
And-
for everything already.
Yeah, so
Or there's
I think
one
they've
for the
looked at
CRD
some.
reference page. There's one for all the examples and the getting started guides.
Okay.
There's one to actually link stuff together. And there's one to update the task section and the Keptn context in terms of tasks.
Yeah,
And the
I
migration guide.
There was one,
added
there was
that
one to
last
take the
one.
context material that was in the task section and make that its separate page, and that will be monthly.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
this one.
is there one for the auto app discovery page? It's the first thing listed under guides.
So I wrote it as today, that one, but should it be a ticket?
Do we actually need to update anything there?
I
Probably.
can't believe it doesn't need modification. It's Flo, do you remember? Flo basically wrote it.
For the auto app discovery,
If something about manual
it's
is
very likely
about,
that
then yes.
this part probably needs to be
okay.
adapted a little bit.
Then I will create a ticket for this.
Right.
Words.
Because we don't actually have any place where we say this is what context propagation is and how we do it and how it works. We may end up, yeah.
That's for the guide, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we have a ticket for that already. I think
Okay.
it should be part of this then. It should be part of the guide, right? I think that makes sense.
It may be the auto app discovery, yeah, that becomes that, and it could get retitled that.
In my opinion, we should keep that separate because it's kind of separate behaviors that happen in Keptn.
Yeah.
One part is the actual app discovery,
Uh-huh.
and then the
Right.
other part is how you link the traces over different deployments and stuff.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think that's worth to have two guides.
Yeah.
I don't know what other people think about it.
My guess
Seems
is we
like
need
too
to get
much
a bunch
content
of,
for one page.
yeah, we need a bunch of content to get written up, and then we need to read it over, and we may mix and match and, maybe links between, or, we may reshuffle it or something, but first we get it written down, so
Yeah.
look and see what we've got.
Okay. Coming back to the actual ticket here, anything to add here?
So, I think I've got what I need to get started at least.
Okay. Cool. Then let's move on. Okay, this is also context propagation epic. Update the examples, update the cube builder sample files, and the getting started guide with new features, especially I think the release lifecycle getting started guide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess this is mostly straightforward. The sample files just need to be filled out. It's the CRD that needs to be filled out, basically. The examples need to be adapted to still work
Worth
with the new API
discussing
versions.
is, I know what to do with the Keptn app reference page. For the others, though, because we don't have a previous release of the docs available, so the minute we release the new release of Keptn that has the new context stuff in it, users lose access to the last version of the docs. So that means we're going to need to preserve some of the old information marked as, this is, say we do this in 11.0, that this will be for, these things are going to say in 10.0 and earlier, it works like this. I think, right? Or do we have any thoughts about
Yes,
how we can handle
that's
that?
why we have this section, I think.
Right, that's why I said I know what to do on the reference page.
Yeah.
What do we do about like guide material? Will we maintain any information there?
I would say no.
I think it's enough if the guides are pointing to the latest version. There's no need to basically maintain more guides at older versions.
Except that users don't upgrade in the 3 minutes after we release a new release.
Yeah, we're still kind of in this limbo state right now. So
Yeah,
this will get better with the next release.
But
right.
mostly if users are going through the guides, they're in most cases the newest users, new users to Keptn, so they have the latest version installed. At least I would expect. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
But the thing is you might want to go back and say, what exactly did they say about, how I did things, or, it's just weird that they're running something and they lose access to the information about it until they can upgrade. And, I mean, at this point, they should be upgrading quickly, but
We don't have any commitment to maintain old things.
And
Also, so
Also, there is one breaking change regarding the Keptn context in the newest version, but other than that, everything should work the same. Only the Keptn app and Keptn app context will change. So other than that, everything else stays the same. And mostly if users stay at the older versions, the transformation is covered by the conversion webhooks. So
eh,
And then from this release onward, we will always have a stable website and the latest website. So this, at least this transition period would be covered, right?
I don't know. I mean, what I'm thinking is that I'm running this and I go to bed one night and I wake up the next morning and there's a new release and I have no access to the documentation for the release that I've got running.
but it's alpha release. We still need to consider that it's the
True.
we do in alpha version you can actually change and delete everything what you
So
want.
I think the decision we got when we decided to have only this two version on the website was that if you want to have something older, you should check the API documentation, which we keep. But if you want to use everything, then go for the new stuff.
Okay. All right.
Because otherwise this could be a slippery slope that we keep on adding new guides for each version, and this hides information, maybe, I don't know.
I don't
And
know.
we maybe move this discussion to an actual ticket.
Right. Yeah, let's just say to think about, there might be a sentence or something here where you say, in 10.0 and earlier it was like this or something like that. We will do, the Keptn app reference page we're set up for. But just a thought to not make our users think we really hate them.
Yeah.
But
I know that you brought this up multiple times now. Let's actually
yeah,
discuss it
shut up.
properly in a
Yeah.
ticket. And no, not at all. That's not what I mean.
It's legitimate.
But let's discuss it formally, I would say.
Right, and just as much as anything, keep it in mind when you're deleting old text. It's like, yeah, is there any way I can do to keep a hint? Because there's not a lot of it either. So, move on.
Okay. I will create a ticket for this and we'll discuss it properly, I would say.
Okay.
Okay. Back to updating examples, kubebuilder sample files, etc. I didn't provide lots of description because I think it's mostly clear. Although I don't know if it's clear for everybody. I see that Andre already assigned this to himself. Do you
Yeah,
need
sorry, I didn't
anything?
see the ready for refinement. I assigned myself, but I
Yeah.
didn't do much about it yet. But I'll continue.
Do you need any other information? Shall we enhance this here?
No. Basically, here we're speaking about the generated examples, the examples, our examples in the example section, and the release lifecycle management. As far as I saw, everything it's quite clear what needs to be done there.
Yeah.
Good. Then let's put this in find, and I guess we can put this in progress already. What's the time? 44. Okay, we still have some time. Then let's move on. Document cross-reference works with new tools. Mac.
Ah, yes. I don't know. I've been, as I adjust to the new tools where I've gotten burned, I've tried to keep a list and I was suggesting that it might be nice to, because this is, there's so many flavors of Markdown. There's a lot of cross-referencing things that work in other versions that don't work here. So I just started making a list of these and suggesting that we should add them to the contributing guide. Oh, I don't know if there's a
How
lot.
would you add those? Just as a list, or
Yeah, I'm just
and
put it
where?
in the documentation set, link, xref links or something.
The new page here, basically.
Probably. I mean, there is a question for, I mean, I kind of like having the different topics show up there, but we could glam a bunch. We could have a tips and tricks or something section that had various things in like this.
Is there a chance that we can enforce some of those in our linters?
Oh, they're being enforced. That's how I learned about them. Is I
They're
made an
n-
xref
they're not being
thing that
enforced.
used to work
Not
and it
all of
doesn't
them.
work anymore. Yeah.
So we can actually enforce some of them, like different indentation for different paragraphs. If you want to have a code block inside a list, for example.
Right.
Previously, you didn't need any indentation for that. Now you do. We can actually enforce that. It's not enforced right now. But that means we need to enforce it and then update all of the documentation. So basically, every page needs to be updated with some white space. It's probably automatically fixable, but it's a big PR. That's why I just didn't do it yet.
Well, the ones I ran
With all the
into,
migration.
if you didn't add the extra indentation, it didn't format correctly. So
Exactly.
if you were watching your stuff, it didn't play out correctly.
Exactly.
So
we can
what
actually enforce it.
Oh, the other one, the one from, I think it was from contributing or a README, where I actually screwed up and did a relative xref, and it did let that pass, but it didn't work very well. I forget how it failed, but it wasn't right. And then I remembered it's like, no, if you're out of the nav path, you need to do the full URL for your xref.
Yeah.
So some of these are just reminders and some are already there and we should enforce it
Right.
so it's visible.
Yeah, let me actually, if we approve this, I or somebody will go in and can write this up, and then we can look at it and review. I think I might have stuck some things in here that weren't strictly xrefs too, that were some other. Do I have the indentation thing?
Would it
Yeah.
make sense to
Yeah.
rework on the ticket in a way that the things that can be put in our linters are separated in another ticket?
Virtually all of these I ran into these because either they
Okay.
blow your formatting or the linter already throws it out.
Okay, then it's easy. Can we make the list into each of them a ticket with added the linter
But I
thing?
think this list here is almost the full content. Would you want to set a ticket
Yes,
for each?
I think this is all, pretty much the full content, but some of this can be done in code basically by enforcing it through the linter,
Right.
which would mean we need to update the linter rules and then fix all the documentation for it. And from that point onwards, it's basically
So this
I
means
don't know,
you don't
fixed
see it
through
as
code, and the other stuff would actually end up as content in the contribution guide. And I think those two things, so one is linter stuff and enforcing stuff, and the other stuff is contribution guide content. I think we could split those two.
Yeah.
So the idea would be that if the people are good and read the guide, they find it out from there. And if they just make a mistake, they don't have to go and check the format of the page, but they get an error.
Right. Because
So
what's
we have-
confusing is there's a couple of these that if you copy a part of the URL displayed on the doc you want to xref, that doesn't work. You have to, like, you'd have slash and hashtag is in the URL, but that's not what you use in the XREF.
Oh, like if you want to reference to a
A
specific
subsection, right?
subsection.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this here, for example, you would
Yeah.
need to add,
You need to escape it or
No, you need to
no,
take
you
away
need to add the index
slash.
page.
ah
This is,
Ah.
this here
Mm.
only works because browsers are nice to people
smart. Mhm.
and
Right.
smart. Yes, this is not actually a valid link as far as I know.
But actually, if you don't have an index file, if you go into one that has a straight MD file,
Then you need to use
and you
that name,
reference
yes.
a subsection, you'll have a slash hashtag and you have to get rid of the slash.
Yeah, so it would be some page name .md and then a hashtag. It should always be file hashtag anchor.
Right. But
But
that will
yes, yes.
display as file slash hashtag. See what I'm saying?
And
That's fine.
doesn't it work with a relative
it is.
path? So like dot
Yes.
slash and hashtag or dot whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so but this is included in your ticket already, as far as I know, Mac.
Right, right.
Okay, good. So then I
Let me write
think we can
it up
agree
and then
on.
we could go at it.
I think it's fine if I do that. I will split this into what we can do in the linter and what we need to add to the contract guide,
Okay.
and then we have 2 tickets for it.
But
If
we
that's
need
fine
what's
with
in the
you.
linter needs to be explained in the contrib guide. It's not nice to
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
people do your best and then when it blows up, figure it out.
Yeah. I will rework the ticket.
Okay.
Okay, I'll work on this and then we can discuss this again next week.
Okay, cool.
Let me put a reminder for myself. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so I'll leave this on ready for refinement for now. Next, define documentation style issues.
We've got it. We're running out of time. Let's move on. This is long. We need to think about this.
Okay.
How
Shall I
how
add
much we want to get into.
a work in progress here?
Sure.
Okay. Then I will do that and remove the ready for refinement. And as soon as you think this is ready, please just re-add the label.
Okay, let's you and I have a talk offline because it's kind of that's what we need to do is decide how far we want to go on this style guide stuff.
Sure.
We can go to a
Those are fine.
ridiculous level or we can just ignore it, or I'm thinking maybe somewhere in the middle might be the right place to land.
Probably. Okay, cool. So then this is the last ticket for today. Edit the orchestration getting started guide.
And there, I guess the question is whether we're going to keep the orchestration getting started guide, which I think we are for now, right? And it's a question about somebody had said maybe we only need one getting started guide, but for the 3 main use cases. And it just needs some links and some cleanups and little things.
Okay. Let's check the DoD here quickly. So the intro, okay, intro makes sense for someone who comes to this page without much prior knowledge. Index is good. Okay. Conforms to style guidelines. Okay. Contains appropriate links to the guides and reference pages and possible correct. Okay. Anything else that we want to add here?
I
Is
don't
good.
think. I think that's good to go. Yeah.
Okay. Let's add this project. Hello. Okay. Refine. Good. And we actually have somebody to work on this already, but that's from
Wonderful.
beginning of December. So I'll remind them again. Otherwise,
Okay. Yeah.
I guess it's
It's
up
up
for the
for grabs.
taking.
Okay,
Good.
cool. So do you want
Um,
to end 8 minutes early, or do you want to go back and look at the style stuff?
didn't you say we should discuss this offline first?
We could, yeah, okay, or we could discuss here what we care about. I don't care.
Let's do it offline. I don't think we can
Okay.
manage in 6 minutes.
Okay,
And then
sounds good.
we can present the ticket when it's like fully ready next week or something.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Then with this, I think we're done with refinement for today. Is there anything else from anybody? Okay, then I think we can close the meeting here. Thanks everybody for joining.
Fabulous.
We have, again, reminder, we have the user group meeting later today. Please join that if you have time. Otherwise, we'll have community meeting next week again on Wednesday, as always. Okay, then enjoy your days,
Fabulous.
everybody. See you
Have
next
a
Have a
nice
week.
day,
good day,
everyone.
good evening.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.